And now that you're having adventures with Jake, your dog, in your Pathfinder with your road bike and your jet ski because you've got the life of leisure that you live. Yeah, bit. Want to stand up? Hey everyone, just a little forward to the start of the video. I know historically I've only made e-mountain bike videos, but yeah, we're going to try something a bit different today just to spice it up a bit while the e-bike's in the local shop. After all, my channel is called James Goodsell and not James Goodsell EMTB. So yeah, mostly I like to ride the big travel bikes. I also like to spend a lot of time riding my road bike. Then as well as the road bike, I guess I like to do a fair bit of cross country on the hardtail as well. So yeah, just a bit of a warning, I do like to vary it around with the bikes, the videos, and this is the first one. So let's get into it. What we're doing today is comparing this beautiful SL6 Tarmac 2019 edition, even though relatively it's the same as the 2020, bar a few changes, with the 2021 SL7 Tarmac, the Venge Killer, newly dubbed. Basically, we're going to compare the two, looking at the Di2 equivalent in the SL7, and weighing up if you've got the SL6, if it's worth the upgrade. Presuming you have the SL6 like I do. Would you upgrade it? Is it worth it? Blah blah blah. Maybe you don't even have one and you just want to check the video out, which I presume most of you watching will be like. So visually, the new SL7 it looks a bit similar to the SL6 in terms of structurality. I made that word up, I'm pretty sure. But you can see the new SL7 has a lot more of those Vengy aero lines, but the actual shape of the bike is the same. Naturally, the colours change model to model. You get that on all bikes, so I'm pretty sure they have this colour though. This is a good colour scheme. Black works well with anything really. I'm not sure you can call it a colour scheme, but these decals they're awesome in real life. Not sure how they look on the video. But yeah, the cockpit is noticeably more streamlined on the SL7. But overall, if you do an overlay, they're much the same bike, bar the aero touches. One of the few major overhauls, visually and structurally, is the back of this seat post. You'll notice that I have a Psychic saddlebag on there, so we ignore that. I wasn't going to take it off because it's a bit painful. But I'll slot a picture of the new seat post in here now, if I can, if I figure out how. Never done it before, but presuming it's easy. And you'll notice that it is big and chunky chungus. So basically that's where the new Di2 junction box goes in. This is where it is on the current bike. This is where it's going. I think, personally, I don't like the look of it. I think it looks a bit ugly. That is my personal preference, but I do think it looks weird. It's a lot more practical, but a bit weird. Both bikes come with a Roval wheelset. On the SL6, we've got the CLX 50 Rapides, 50 rear, 50 front. On the SL7, we have the newer version of these wheels, but we've got 50 front and 60 rear, which is, you know, it's a bit bigger. They're 35 mils external width on the front and 30 on the back, weighing in about 1400 grams. So, you know, it's the ballpark of the current ones. Supposedly the new wheels are about 25% more stable, but I don't really feel when I ride this that I'm not riding along and thinking I wish these were 25% more stable. These wheels are superb. The new ones aren't tubeless compatible, which, I mean, I don't run tubeless, but I think that's a big deal breaker for a lot of people. So I feel like that's a bit of a design flaw short term there, but too much of a muchness for me. Both can run 32mm tyres, although it is a bit of a stretch for this bike. You don't have much clearance. These aren't 32s, these are 25s. but you know, you've only got like 2 mils play either side. Weight between these two bikes. Obviously the new one's more aero, so you'd think along with it comes the extra weight. But both top of the line models, the SL7 is actually a little bit lighter than this SL6, my SL6. So mine comes in at about 7.1 kilos, but I haven't really tried to get it. It's just sort of what it is. It is what it is. The claimed weight for the Di2 equivalent of the SL7 is about 6.8, 6.7 kilos. It's right on that UCI limit. So it's about 400 grams different. So what's that? Big chicken schnitzel for dinner? A few up and goes for breakfast? I don't know. It's not, it's a lot, but at the same time it's not much. I guess it depends where your priorities lie. Like if you're not racing, you live in a flat area, like California Beach or something. I don't know. I've never been to California. Probably doesn't matter as much as if you were a 50 kilo climber living in the Swiss Alps sort of thing. I live in Tasmania. It is hilly here, so the weight does matter, but 400 grams at the end of the day, you've really got to weigh that up. The SL7 comes with a threaded bottom bracket. That is a bit of a difference to this. This is not threaded. I guess the difference here is there's less creaking. It's easier to service, easier to install, easier to take out. But in saying that, I have had no problem with this one. Obviously, I'd prefer threaded, but I mean, it's great. One of the big players in this game is the aeroness of the SL7 compared to the SL6. So it's claimed to be 45 seconds faster over 40 kilometers an hour to this bike. So, you know, 45 seconds is considered a lot. But the reality of it is that this bike is already considerably faster than, you know, the next bike. It's already aero. I don't do individual time trials or breakaways or 40 kilometer courses where I need to be 45 seconds faster. You know, so it doesn't really make a real big difference to me, because most of the time, if it comes down to if it's a flat course and it comes down to a sprint because I haven't broken away, the big dog in the group who's pulling like 1500 watts and could probably win the Tour de France stage, comes out of nowhere, is probably going to beat my 1300 watt good sprint on the day anyway, and like 1300 watts is the best I can do pretty much. So I don't think it's going to be much help there, but you know, take it as you will. We're going to a new power meter with the SL7. We've got the Dura Ace cranks and Dura Ace power meter instead of these S-Works version. The S-Works power meter in the cranks, it's dual-sided, just like the Dura Ace. I have had no problem with, and I love. I've had a few power meters in my day, and I always find I've got some form of issue along the line eventually. Had this for 2 years, not one issue yet. Not a single issue. Touch wood. You wait, tomorrow it's just going to like blow up on me. But you know, the new power meter, it's not much different in actual functionality, like what it might be. I don't know the actual stats, but say it's 1.1% more accurate. That you're basing it off your own data anyway. So personally, I don't feel the power meter, this one versus the next one, is that much of a factor in buying the next bike. But now we come to the elephant in the room, the big one. See this little S-Works decal here? That is an expensive, not friendly sticker. So yeah, one of the big differences in upgrading the SL6 to an SL7 is the cost. You can't. It's the number one brick wall you're going to encounter. So this bike here is 13,000 Australian dollars. To be fair, I didn't pay retail for this. I couldn't afford it anyway. I've got a bit of a deal when I got it at the time. But the SL7 costs about 18,000 Australian dollars, so 5,000 more for this as the same spec. It's the equivalent. Google tells me that's about 13,000 US dollars or 11,000 euros, which is a huge amount of money. A huge amount. This by itself, 13,000 Australian dollars, is a huge amount of money already, and then 5,000 on top of that. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But this video is about whether it's worth upgrading your SL6 to an SL7. We've had a brief run through on the differences here. But, you know, if it was 1-to-1, of course you would. Of course you'd upgrade. If there was no cost to you whatsoever, you'd be stupid not to. But now we've had a look at some, like, the major differences. We're just gonna jump straight into it and get to the nitty-gritty of it. If I sold this bike, if I wanted the SL7, I sell this bike for a very respectable $6,000. So just under half of what it's worth. This is in good condition. I don't know if I could sell it for $6,000. Like, I really don't know. But let's say I do. So that's still 12,000 Australian dollars I need to put in to get the SL7, the equivalent of this bike. So that's 12,000 Australian dollars. That's 7,500 euros, nearly 9,000 US dollars. So that's a very good bike in itself already. So, like, is that price difference worth the upgrades which we've talked about in a bike which is already good? I guess it depends where your values lie, really. So let's jump into some theoretical situations here and see how it goes. Okay, a theoretical situation. Let's say I want the SL7. I go out and sell the SL6 for what I estimated I could get, and then had the difference to get to the $18,000 mark, Australian dollars, to buy the SL7. I buy the bike. All is good except the bank account. That money's just stored in my imagination now, but oh well. Now let's say I have 12,000 Australian dollars that I have to get rid of for whatever reason, but I decide to keep the SL6, so I won't be upgrading to the SL7 because I can't justify the costs for the upgrades outlined before. So aside from sensibly saving my money because I have to get rid of it for whatever reason, what could I buy instead of the SL7 while keeping the SL6? So we have the SL6. We're keeping this. It's a great bike. We love it. If the SL7 came out, there'd be no reason for us to upgrade it because we don't feel like we're missing out on anything. Next, we buy an automatic 4-wheel drive Nissan Pathfinder, fully decked out for camping, including a rooftop tent with a registration, for 4,900 Australian dollars, found on Gumtree, Australia. So that's sort of like an Australian Craigslist, basically. A few of these things are going to be off that, so hang tight. We next decide to buy a Yamaha Wave Blaster jet ski, because why not? Why don't you want a jet ski with your newfound money? It's just got a new motor installed, and it comes with a jet ski trailer conveniently. I know nothing about jet skis, but we've decided we want one. Both of them are registered. That brings our total expenditure to 7,400 Australian dollars. Next, we decide to get $100 worth of fuel to start us off with both of these little machines here. And then you're sitting in your car and driving, but something's a bit off. So you're like, oh, I need a friend. So you go out on Gumtree and buy an Alaskan Malamute called Jake as a travel companion. I've been told he's very good. And he's going to set us back about $500 because the people want a good home for him. Now, naturally, he needs dog food to eat, enough for the road, and he eats a lot. So we'll get $200 worth of dog food for him. And now that you're having adventures with Jake, your dog, in your Pathfinder with your road bike and your jet ski because you've got the life of leisure that you live, you decide to get a GoPro Hero 8 Black Action Cam to record these adventures. And then you decide also, why can't I record my adventures from the sky? So you decide to get a DJI Mavic mini drone as well for the aerial adventure shots, which Jake loves. And that brings us to 9,300 Australian dollars, which we've spent while retaining the original SL6. So we're still ahead if we bought the SL7. So you're thinking about the SL7 a bit. So then you're like, oh, I need a new bike. I'm going to get a decent entry-level mountain bike. I'm going to throw that in there too for our adventures with Jake the dog. And yeah, we'll look for a $2,000 hardtail, good geometry, capable of everything. We'll put that in there. And then finally, to get us to our 12,000 Australian dollars, we'll throw in an Oculus headset in there so you can pretend to ride the SL7 you nearly bought in case you ever get sad and regretful because all of these things aren't enough to justify not having bought it. Yeah. Yeah. So now let's say you don't have any pre-organised money for your elaborate yet very guiltily rewarding purchases, and you just keep the SL6. You've got an awesome bike, which looks great, which is important. It rides awesome, better than you probably. And you use the extra money, which you'll eventually save to pay off your home loan or something. I mean, that's the reality of the situation here. Yeah, why not just do that? It's not as exciting as the other two options, but it's definitely more practical. So the overall verdict, me personally, I won't be upgrading to the SL7. Rather waiting for the years to come when hopefully I can warranty this frame for a relatively free upgrade because of like a wear crack or something, not from an actual crash because that's not a warranty. But at this rate, there's nothing wrong with it, which is an issue for me warranting it to get the upgrade. But it's great for Specialized, and it really is great for me. Obviously, you have to pay for the parts which don't fit, which I don't know what they are really. I haven't measured the exact saddle width and then compared it to the saddle width of the SL7 because I don't need a warranty this yet. But so I won't be making the upgrade, but I'm not saying for you not to go out there and buy it. I'm like, go do it. It's a sick bike. If you want it, you want it. There's no doubt in my mind that it's as good as they say it is. I can't justify spending 12,000 Australian dollars on top of what you see here to become 45 seconds quicker on the flat over 40 kilometers. Like, that's an exorbitant amount of money. But if you've got the money to do it and you really want to do it, there's no reason you shouldn't be allowed to. I just think if you've already got the SL6, there's no overwhelming reason you need to upgrade it for such a big financial expense. And keep riding your SL6. Hopefully, if you do have one, you can follow my footsteps, warranty it in a few years with a lifetime warranty, and Bob's your uncle. So I hope you liked that little comparison between the SL6 and the SL7, and I hope that I sort of answered your questions about upgrading to an SL7 from this. I mean, I probably didn't change your mind at all. If you really want it, you're going to watch this video and then you're going to be like, oh, yeah, go out and buy it anyway, probably, more than likely. Or you can buy all that cool stuff, which I didn't. I had a lot of fun researching that, actually. Or a home loan. But if you like the video, chuck us a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Or, going back to the start of the video, the e-mountain bike plethora that I have. See you next time.